Hello, I'm Nathan Judo. I'm here with Wolves reporter Mr. Liam Keane. No, this isn't a repeat. We are here for a second time in about 10 days. FA Cup. Wolverhampton Wanderers won, Brentford won. Liam, 1-1 probably wouldn't have been that impressive if it was before the game. However, under those circumstances, that's a quite superb performance.
Yeah, down to 10 men, 1-0 down. A superb goal, which we'll come on to, gets you back in the game, and Wolves could have won it in the end. The main word that I take away from that performance, and to be fair, Gary O'Neill's Wolves in general this season, is resilience. That team is strong, close-knit, and I think it was worthy of getting a replay at the very least. So credit to them, because they came back from a tough start to the game.
Well, look, Asia Cup lost players, AFCON lost players, injuries lost players, and then you lose your main central midfielder in the first 10 minutes of the game. Talk me through the incident.
Yeah, and of course as well, Mario Lemina being on compassionate leave at the moment. I mean, they hope that he'll be back for Brighton, which would be a massive boost. But without knowing that,
or maybe the Brentford replay.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, good point. So yeah, I mean, either way, they hope he's back soon, and obviously wish him and his family all doing well in this hard time. But yeah, the Joao Gomes situation. Look, it was almost innocuous. It was bizarre. No one really made much of a fuss about it in the stadium. No one really made much of a fuss about it on the pitch. And all of a sudden there was a red card being brandished. I didn't really know where it came from.
Startled.
Watched the replay. It's a little bit of a late lunge to try and get the ball, but it's very much he's in control.
Yeah.
I don't think it's reckless. I don't think it's dangerous. He
wasn't out of control.
He catches the player on the Achilles. It's going to be painful. It's not going to be. It's not going to be a. And obviously he went off injured, so I hope the player's fine. There's nothing against Brentford or the player.
But just because he's gone off injured doesn't mean to say that it's a red card.
Just because it's a result in an injury doesn't mean it's a red card. I didn't think it was a red card. I thought it was a booking. Absolutely, it's 100% a booking. It's not a red card for me. And then particularly, well, I'm sure you were going to ask this, so I'll go on to it anyway. Particularly when you compare it.
Well, yeah, go for it.
To the Damsgaard situation on Tommy Doyle.
Shortly afterwards,
that is gone over the ball, stamp on the ankle. Not intentional. Not blaming Damsgaard for trying to injure the player. Nothing like that. But he has gone over the ball. It's dangerous. It's out of control, and he catches Doyle on the ankle. Doyle, to his credit, doesn't make a fuss about it. Gets on with it, but the referee doesn't.
Well, a little bit, because he was down for a while.
Well, I mean, in terms of complaining.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure it hurt. Don't get me wrong. And the referee doesn't even give a foul for it.
Astonishing.
It's a Brentford throw and you play on.
Astonishing.
That's the biggest concern for me. Is the consistency within a game and within decisions and winning week by week, which you've seen throughout the Premier League all season. You see within one game, one thing is a red card, something which is arguably worse is not even a foul. Yeah. That's for me is the biggest problem.
And for me, both incidents are exactly the same to a certain extent, and both incidents could quite easily have been just a foul, and probably should have been a foul. Absolute max a yellow card. Well, like you say, and the way things have gone this season, it had to be. Wolves down to 10 men after 8 minutes, and Brentford, it's just a throw in for that. It's just insane. Wolves have then got a massive uphill task. Yeah. And watching that first half, and I know of course they went 1-0 down with Neal Maupay, but actually they were quite comfortable in that half. They changed it around a little bit. Bellecar dropped in a little bit deeper when he needed to, but at the same time I thought, apart from the goal, they didn't look under massive threat, did they?
Yeah, the momentum swung at times for both sides, but at no point I think Wolves were
hanging on.
Yeah, exactly. There was no point when they were really completely out of control of the fixture. Brentford had spells, Wolves had spells, but it was the way they were able to slow the game down, control themselves and their own positioning and emotion, particularly being down to 10 men, I thought was quite impressive. So with that came the chances, and then eventually came the goal. Had that not happened, Brentford would probably go on to take control of that game and get a second goal, and then the game's gone.
I thought they started the second half very well as well. I think it was pretty even Stevens. That were definitely same as the first half, really. I thought they weren't under massive pressure, and then came a massive moment. And before that, the fact that Pedro Neto came onto this pitch, and he was, if anyone's wondering, is he going to get back to the same level? He was quite sensational for that cameo tonight. Really absolutely magnificent. And I thought he was the catalyst of Wolves going from 50-50 in a game, which was commendable in itself, to dominating a game 10 versus 11. And of course played a big part into what you're going to describe as one of the most stunning goals that I think I've seen live, and without doubt is the goal of the season so far.
Yeah, well, 100%. On to your point about Neto, spot on, no complaints. He had 35 minutes plus added time there, so about 40 or altogether, which would be great for him getting back into fitness and come out for the injury. But he looked sharp. He looked dangerous, he looked confident, and that is exactly what Wolves, that's music to Wolves' ears, that's exactly what they needed to see from him. So that in itself is brilliant. And then it's a short corner, gets played out to Bellegarde, Bellegarde comes back inside, plays it back to Neto. It's not actually a great pass back to Neto, to be honest, it's a little bit short. Neto manages to get to it first, plays it into Doyle. The man to my right now, but to my left watching the game, was saying, "Oh, don't shoot, don't shoot."
I say shoot.
You
I say shoot.
You definitely were.
Shoot.
Definitely were.
I wasn't.
I've dropped you in it there.
I wasn't. You killed me.
It's the intelligence and the awareness first, is that he takes a touch out onto his left foot with his right foot initially to take it beyond the player that's charging towards him, and then it opens up 25-ish yards left foot, and it is rifled like an arrow into that top corner.
When you see this, because I know this game wasn't on TV tonight, but you probably see the replays or the highlights, this is as crisp and as sweet as you can strike a football.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just so satisfying watching going, because it was literally top bins, it was top corner.
Everything about it. It's the way he moves it onto his left foot. It's the way he strikes the ball. It's the noise he makes when he hits the ball. It's the noise when it hits the net. I mean, everything about it's perfect.
And then it's the limbs. The Wolves fans are right there going into the corner. It was the perfect scenario.
The away fans went bonk.
Oh, we've gone mental.
I love it. A superb goal. His first Premier League goal. His first Wolves goal. But I don't know if you remember, I forget who it was against, but we saw this last season when he was on loan at Sheffield United. He scored an absolute bouter from outside the area, so he's got this in his locker. It was a magnificent goal, well worth your first Wolves goal, the first Premier League goal. Tommy Doyle's taken his chance in the last 2 games, absolutely.
£53 million for Matheus Nunes, how much?
4.3.
4.3
option. Which are they going to take?
Wolves are going to take it. This is. It's not like Manchester City can pull him back. If Wolves want to take that option, they're taking the option, and they're taking the option.
Which is, by the way, is very much undervalued. What he is. It was not officially, but unofficially, all at the same time while Nunes' deal to City was going through. City, gave Wolves a little favour to try and get that deal through, and it's very much an undervalued option, which they are guaranteed to take.
And
Wolves didn't happen to him, God forbid, but let's hope not.
Wolves didn't sit back there and just try and soak up and try and get them back in a replay. They were still on the offence. They were still working. They were still lively. They were still dangerous.
Yeah, and Matheus Cunha again. We speak about him a lot, but I think he was again at the heart of that. So good in the transition, so good at carrying the ball, works incredibly hard. He got a few decisions against him today, and he's very emotional as a human being. He can't hide his disappointment, and Gary O'Neill is on the sidelines constantly trying to get him focused. But that's a little bit of you will take that if you get the kind of performances out of him, and at the moment Wolves are getting that. I think he's a brilliant player, and it's not just him. Neto, you mentioned, I thought Stravia did okay. Bellegarde, very workmanlike, tried really hard, didn't maybe get in the best positions all the time, but carried the ball fairly well. Tommy Doyle in midfield, especially after Joao Gomes went off, I thought he did really well holding the fort on his own basically, although a couple of players dropped in when necessary. A really good team display. That's my biggest takeaway, and the resilience to come back and earn a replay, and well-deserved replay as well.
I know, well-deserved replay, in spite, as I've just tweeted, of some shocking officiating, not just at the beginning of the game, but at the end of the game. Bizarre, really. I mean, Jose Sá made a decent save towards the end of the game. There was an incident with Luis Potter and Semedo. Luis Potter's literally got his throat wrapped around Nelson Semedo. I mean, his hands wrapped around Nelson Semedo's throat. Yellow card. Everybody can't believe it. Goes to VAR. They upheld the decision. They always go with the on-field call. And it was a bizarre game. And the fact that Wolves have come out of this so well, and like you say, just this team ethic. They've got so much character. Even when you've got to completely change it in 8 minutes into a game, you completely change your game plan. And to do it so well, and to be the better side over 90 plus 4 or 5 minutes is quite sensational.
Yeah. Just before I answer that, one more quick criticism of VAR and officials. I like a pop when I can. Is you've seen it happen, the Luis Potter and Semedo incident, haven't you, live? Because I was down on my laptop when it happened. I missed it. Yeah. Still, right now, this is 20 minutes after full time. I've still not seen a replay. While VAR was checking it, there was nothing in the ground. There was no announcement to say VAR was checking anything. There was no replays on our TVs. Not only was there no replays, there was no VAR confirmation as well. We had nothing. So I can't give an opinion on it right now because I haven't seen it. I'm taking you and what all the Wolves fans on Twitter are telling me is they grabbed him by the throat.
I'll show you.
And
real time.
I'm right. And if that's the case, that is a red card. That's the thumbnail.
That's the thumbnail. I like it. You're learning well.
If that's the case, it's a red card. Instead, both players have been booked, and life goes on. I think it's a real sad state of affairs, the way in which VAR and refereeing is being conducted at the moment. It's incredibly poor. The communication's incredibly poor, and I can't see it again any better. Moving on from that. Completely agree. Resilience again. I've mentioned character. All of these kind of words. This team comes together, fights, and is in a really strong place right now. Now they've got few numbers. They're having to be patched up and go out there and play again. Now they're lucky they've got a break now before the Brighton game.
Before the Brentford game.
I keep forgetting about the Brentford replay.
Stop swearing.
We're here. No, I didn't swear.
I know, you're nearly to.
Okay, Brentford replay.
Brentford replay. Probably a week on Tuesday, a week on Wednesday. So they fly to Abu Dhabi. They're going to have a week away.
Yeah, they're back on the 14th from Abu Dhabi. Then it'll probably be a few days after that, 2 or 3 days after that.
Yeah. Look, obviously Joao Gomes is now suspended. We're expecting 3 games. Wolves could appeal that. I don't think anything will happen with that appeal.
Probably not. I mean, again, we'll ask Gary Neal if they are going to appeal. Sure. I would be surprised if they don't, to be honest. But we'll see.
But at the same time, I'll be surprised if it gets changed or overturned. So let's say he's going to miss 3 games. Now they've got this replay. That will be 1 game. Will be the replay. Now, if they beat Brentford, he will miss the Brighton game for certain. So he's definitely missing the Brighton game in the Premier League. If they beat Brentford in the replay, then he will miss both the FA Cup replay and he will miss the 4th round tie.
Which is the last weekend in January before Wolves play United on February 1st.
And if they lose to Brentford, then he will miss the United
game. Exactly. So unless an appeal obviously is successful. But let's not focus on negatives. Focus on the positives. In that Tommy Doyle right now, if Lamina is back and hopefully everything goes well with him, Tommy Doyle's earned his place to keep that starting 11 berth. So him and Lamina will hopefully start the games.
I agree.
If he's back.
I agree. It's just very frustrating when with these things. Now I've been looking behind me actually a couple of times, and that's because I was looking for Sasa Kalajdzic, who is not warming down with the rest of the team. Unused substitute tonight, and of course, if you'd read or seen Liam's tweet or read the article, it looks like deal has been agreed and he's going to be going to Germany on loan.
Yes, verbally agreed. Joining Eintracht Frankfurt on loan to the end of the season. No option to buy. There's been a lot of reports about Frankfurt being keen for an option to buy being included, but as far as I understand, that's not been agreed as it stands. It's still yet to go through. Imagine it take a few days at the very least, but we'll see how the next few days develop. But he is, as it stands, as he didn't come on today either, set to go on loan. And it's been a slight change of tact from Wolves. So initially, they were absolutely adamant, start of this window, they will not let him go anywhere until they've got a replacement. Although they have now got this replay, they've got 1 extra game, they only have 1 Premier League game this month, the Brighton game. They may obviously have another FA Cup game after the replay as well. They're only 1 Premier League game, and Wolves have decided to take that risk and allow him to go before a replacement comes in. And the reasons being for that is allow him to go and play, have game time, get settled back in Germany. And secondly, which I would imagine is probably one of the bigger reasons for Sasha personally, is that his wife is heavily pregnant, is going to give birth in probably the next few weeks or so. And I think they're eager to get over there and get settled and be in a position for that to happen. Quite a big change, obviously, in their personal lives. So I can understand it from a personal and a footballing point of view, but it's certainly a risk from Wolves. Their numbers aren't great. Fabio's already gone on loan to Rangers. They haven't got a lot of options. No. Nathan Fraser's currently got a small knock at the moment as well, and albeit clubs want him on loan, he's probably not going anywhere in the short term. That'll probably be one that drags on in the end of January. So
I mean, Bellegarde played kind of up top tonight as well.
Yeah, he did.
Would have put a little bit more if we'd seen him. So look, if they had 11 men, it's interesting one. You know, you've got to wish Sasha well. Whether he's got a long-term future at Wolves, I think it's probably debatable at this point. Would you say?
Yeah, I think debatable is a good way of putting it. He's certainly not kicked on from coming back from his injury. Doesn't seem quite comfortable. Maybe mentally, it's particularly with an injury like that and how serious it was, maybe it's difficult for him. I think Wolves' hope, whether this is optimistic or not, is that he'll go there, score goals, play regularly and come back and play for Wolves again, but it very much depends how these next few months go.
Brentford at the end of December, Brentford in early January, Brentford in the middle of January, Brentford come across in the league in February. Buzzing, yeah?
I mean, I won't be there, so so it's fine.
You missed the buzzing reference, Bees. It's okay, it's fine. Brentford 1, Wolves 1 for the post-match reaction. Make sure you log on to expressthestar.com.